I get DMs and questions related to how I create my video content on a weekly basis. So today is the day that I unveil CP's 3-step process for creating video content and getting it on YouTube. So let's get to work. You an entrepreneur, I got what you need. Hey there, my loves. Welcome back to CPTV. I'm CP, and you are in the place for aspiring and growing entrepreneurs who want to turn their passions into businesses and their businesses into freedom. If that sounds good to you, then go ahead and subscribe because it doesn't cost you anything. And every single Tuesday, I am giving you the training on the step-by-step business processes and systems that you can implement immediately in your business and life so you can get to that level of entrepreneurial freedom that you so deserve and desire. So you heard me. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you don't miss any of it. And of course, if you like it, show me. Smash that like button and tell me what you think in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys and answering your questions. So last week we talked about my online marketing process, which really does focus a lot on creating content and putting it out there in the public to attract and grow your audience. So if you missed it, it was an oldie but goodie. I'm going to go ahead and link to it right now, right up here. So make sure you check it out because it is going to give you the basics of content marketing that you need to grow as an entrepreneur. But if you do go back and watch that video, you will learn that my primary platform, what it is YouTube. And that type of content is video related. Honestly, it is a topic of discussion that comes up for me all the time. I get DMs and questions related to how I create my video content on a weekly basis. So today is the day that I unveil CP's 3-step process for creating video content and getting it on YouTube. So let's get to work. Yes, I did say 3 steps. You heard me. Because it really is only 3 steps. Now, I know a lot of people are not comfortable in video world, but we all do know that videos get attention. People love to watch them. And quite honestly, over the years, I have grown to very much love to make them. It's funny because I will create a quick video before I type out a long blog post or an email in a second. I'll create a quick video before I'll have an hour-long conversation or phone call to teach someone how to do something. So video has become a true love, passion, resource, and tool for me. Even if you're in my consulting or coaching programs, you will utilize my videos to help supplement my coaching and training. Every single client that I work with gets a video library relevant to their services. So I've got quite a bit of video making experience under my belt. And while it may seem complicated and overwhelming to most folks out there, if you break it down into these 3 steps, you'll be mastering your video creation process in no time. Step number 1, carve out the time. Yes, I mean carve out the time. Now, there's really 4 to 5 primary things that I do when we talk about carving out the time. First, I batch my content creation. That means that I create it in batches. I do not create my videos one at a time. Now, you may have heard of batch creation before, but for me, it really boils down to 4 to 6 videos at a time when I'm really sitting down to create. It really helps me be productive. It helps me get things done. And it also prevents me from feeling like I am constantly creating content. Instead, I've got my calendar blocked, which is the second thing that I do in order to be able to batch that content time, and I block it off of my calendar. I've learned after years and years of calendar blocking, of time management, that if it's not in my calendar and time isn't set aside, if I continue to run around believing that the time is just going to appear, it never happens. And that will promote me being inconsistent and not showing up for you, my audience. I promise you that I will be here every single Tuesday. And in order to do that, I've got to make sure that I create my content in batches, and then I actually block off my calendar to do it. Now, I also stay consistent in my timing, which means the same block of time that I set aside every single month is the time that I set aside to do my blocking. Usually it's going to be between the 12th and the 20th of the month when I receive my analytics. I get a chance to dive into my numbers, and then I can actually begin to move on to step number 2, which I'm going to get into shortly. But I stay consistent when I create it. So that way my calendar months in advance is already blocked off for usually 2.5 to 3 days just to batch my video content creation. And I've already mentioned it, but I also know my numbers. That means before I begin my content creation, I carve out the time to be able to review what my numbers look like. I do not base my content creation on my own ideas, my own desires, and my own needs. I base my content creation and my calendar and my content on what you guys enjoy watching, what my analytics tell me that people enjoy watching, and ultimately what everybody's kind of searching for and doing and asking me. So it's really important for me to know what successful numbers look like in order to be able to have that motivation to review those numbers, carve out that time, and batch that video content. Now, I've already alluded to this, but step number 2 is get in the know. Now, what do I mean? Well, once you've carved out that time in step number 1, and you are actually in the thick of that time ready to create your content, you've got to get familiar and equip yourself with everything that you need in order to move on to step 3. And when I'm getting in the know, I focus on 3 major components. First, I create my 4 to 6 week content calendar, researching and settling on my ideas and doing my research. Okay. Let me be more specific. But in order to do that, we've got to take a quick trip over to my office and to my computer so that I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's head on over and I'll show you exactly what I mean. All right. So where we are, guys, is what my process actually looks like when I am getting in the know. And I wanted to walk you guys through this because it is very computer focused for me. I spend a lot of time doing this piece. But the first step in getting in the know is to kind of create my 4 to 6 week content calendar. Now, I want to start this with the disclaimer that I do create an annual calendar. Every year I go on a presidential CEO's retreat. I know I've talked about it before in several other videos. I've also done an entire video about it. And that is where I sit and begin to brainstorm what that following year's yearly content calendar is going to look like. But when I do my annual content calendar, it is not detailed. It is really a themed calendar, and I theme things out by the quarter. So I might put a specific theme over first quarter, a theme over second quarter, a theme over third quarter, and a theme over fourth quarter. And those themes, I determine them based upon ultimately what my product sales are going to be, what my product releases are going to look like, or which product or service I'm really going to be focusing on marketing in any given quarter. And I typically do product releases on a quarterly basis. So I know that if I'm focusing on releasing process related digital content or digital products, which is one of my focuses, that in quarter 1 and quarter 2, that's my overall theme, then I need to ultimately begin to build my 4 to 6 week content calendar in order to be around that theme. So that's the first disclaimer. I do have an annual one, but this is where I focus on my next 4 to 6 weeks. And the reason why I don't map out an entire year's worth of content is because I like to also adjust my content based upon my numbers. And so for me, I found I used to do like 3 months out or even 6 months out. And I found that I would end up changing it and rearranging things based upon what my numbers and my analytics in my social media and in my marketing are telling me. And I like to be able to adjust. So I don't like to do it further than 6 weeks out. I typically do stick to a 4-week calendar. So every month I'm producing content, I review my reports, I look at my analytics and numbers, and then I kind of make the decision on what ideas or what content calendar is going to look like based around those themes. So this is what I do right now. I'm creating my content calendar. I'm still in the first quarter, so I know what my theme is. My theme is still the process lab. It's still processes related to documenting SOPs and ultimately getting yourself to a point where you can begin to look at delegation. And I also know that in the third quarter of this year, I'm going to be focusing more on what that delegation process looks like. So just to give you guys a heads up on what's coming. But this is where I start to create my content calendar. And this is Monday.com. You guys have heard me talk about Asana before, and we have used Asana in the past. Like, for instance, I think I've even shown you this in the past. This was our old Asana board where all of the YouTube videos are and everything. And as I was producing videos in the past, and I'll just show you guys this, you can see all of the detailed data. We have recently converted to Monday.com because I was really looking for a service that was project management based, but that could also really manage workflows and automations. And so we did make the transition. One of our goals was to begin making the transition at the beginning of this year. We have almost completely converted. Now that we are in the third month, our deadline is to have it completely converted over the end of March. And I do still love Asana, don't get me wrong. I'm at a point in my business where I need to automate my sales processes and put workflows into those sales processes. And because my project management systems are the ones that I use to manage and to track the sales processes and the service processes and all my business processes and SOPs, I really needed one that was automatically going to do things for me when I set it. And I have found that I'm really enjoying Monday for that purpose. So I will go ahead and link to Asana and Monday down in the comments below. I think they each have a great place depending upon the level of your business. I'm just at a point now where I need to automate all of my project management stuff as well, because I'm tired of going in and adding dates and monitoring things that way. I want the system to automatically do things when I put in data. And Monday provides that. So I am in my Monday.com, and this is where I really do keep track of my idea bank. So this is where I start with my content. I know what my theme is. I'm going to just kind of move this over a little bit, open it up for you guys to see. But I have an idea bank, and this is where I store all of the ideas that have been coming into fruition, that I've been playing with, the questions that I've been asking. If someone comes through my customer service team, they'll add ideas here. And this is kind of where I keep them. And it's great because I can also access this from my phone. Before, I would go in, I have a Word document, and if something hit me or someone asked me a question in public, I would just add it to that Word document and then transfer it into Asana because it wasn't as easy. But with Monday, I can open up the app and just type right into this idea bank. So this is kind of where I start. And I just look at different ideas and questions that I've received or different things I've come up with. And I'm focusing on ones that are related to have the word processes in them. So I'm going to go ahead and choose, for instance, this process for creating video content, which happens to be the video that you guys are watching right now, and what I ultimately do. So I'm going to take this is my idea, and I'm going to just copy that. And inside of Monday, I've got a template that is my step-by-step process for creating actual YouTube videos. And so it's the template. And so all I do is I take this and I duplicate it. I duplicate the item. So I've got this template in here and it's open. Now, as you can see, there are sub items associated. These are all the steps in our video production process, which is a little different than just creating the content. So I'm not going to dive too deep into these steps. Maybe I'll do a whole nother video related to that. And if that's one that you want to see, go ahead and let me know in the comments below that you say, yes, video production process. And I will do a video on that as well. It's actually in my idea bank already. But as you can see, there's 30 steps involved in producing one CPTV episode. So I take this template and I'm just going to duplicate this item with the updates. When I do that, it's going to duplicate for me this entire step. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to delete and I'm going to paste the idea in. So now I've got kind of my template right in there. So once I do that, I hit enter. And it has created it. Now I'm just going to move it to whatever month it belongs in. And that's one of the things I love as well. So let's just go ahead and plop this into a March video because that's the month that we're working on. So now I've got my March kind of content, and I've been doing this already, which is why you already see things in there. I want to make sure that I'm moving this in order. I believe you guys will be seeing this video on March 16th. So I'll go ahead and put that live date in there. And as you can see, there is my title, all of my sub items that are related to all of the production of the video, along with the owners are already in there. I'm going to go ahead and collapse that. It's not create confusion. I assign this to myself automatically. And now I just ultimately start going in and entering the data. So now it's time to get into my research. So here is my idea. Now I take this idea And it is time for me to, I've done my content creation. That's my first step under getting in the know, creating my content calendar. So now I've created that. And now I'm going to actually begin to research my ideas because this is really important for videos, especially on YouTube. So one of them is to ultimately go in and do my research. I've got to find out if and when this is going to be a successful video for me. And one of my favorite tools to use is going to be TubeBuddy. So I'm going to start over because I actually have to go out to YouTube to take a look at that. And right here, if you have a TubeBuddy, which there is a free version, but there's also an upgraded version. I did ultimately end up upgrading because there's so many features in TubeBuddy that I absolutely love to use, that I think are so important. But this is really where I focus my research on. So I start with ultimately going in to my TubeBuddy. I click on this and I go down to Keyword Explorer. And it basically, I'm going to paste my idea right into the Explorer. And it is going to ultimately give me a ranking of where I would ultimately sit as a content creator on YouTube. What would be my chance in ranking or actually showing up in search for this topic? And as you can see, this is excellent. So I will continue to copy and paste all of my ideas in until we're usually in this green range. Now, sometimes they do come out in the yellow or in the orange, and I'm just adamant because my audience wants to see it that I'm going to do it regardless. But as you can see, this is great. And I like to see what the results are as well, to see what some of the titles are, who some of the folks are that are in here. If I follow them, like Catherine Manning, absolutely love her. So she's in there and she's talking about similar content. And she's also works in, the field of helping entrepreneurs create their content. Also Era on Demand, absolutely love her as well. So I like to see what some of the actual titles are, because as you can see, I haven't titled the video yet. I just have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. I haven't come up with the title. I haven't done any of that, but it says I have an excellent chance at ranking. And so I'm going to go with that excellent chance. I'm going to go back to the summary. And the next thing I do is you can see the common video tags. This is another amazing feature of TubeBuddy. The common video tags that are used in the videos are in here, what the recommendations are. So I click on 2 video tag limit. I just grab as many tags as I can. I don't spend I used to go through and like review them and do all this other stuff. I just don't anymore because it does work. It does pick things up. And then I have a team in the end that goes in and tweaks all of these as well. But I'm going to copy those to my clipboard. Okay. I'm going to copy those, and then I go back into my Monday because my keyword phrase that I'm targeting for this particular video, and then I just enter those keywords in. Oh, I don't think I copied well. So let me go back and grab that again. I'm going to copy them to my clipboard. And then I'm going to paste them right into this box. So this is letting my team know these are the keywords that we are targeting for this particular video. And then I'm going to go in and make sure that I've got my call to action, my opt-in guide. And I'm going to go ahead and put the process guide in there. I think I have a video checklist as well, so I'll contemplate that in a little bit. But that's my call to action, my thumbnail text. I'm going to 4-step create video content in 4 steps. We don't have the YouTube link yet. And then, ultimately kind of some other information that we include in there. I'm just going to scroll over so that you guys can see it. Oh, it's not published, so I don't want to click that box. Once it is, though, it will. And as you can see, I kind of put that information in there. Now this is ready to write because I've done the research. Another place that I also check for getting in the know is just making sure that my ideas, let's just say I went into YouTube and I posted something and it wasn't a great idea. Now I will go a step further in my research and actually go into my Facebook groups, my DMs, my Instagram, my inboxes, and ask people, like surrounding this particular topic, what do you want to hear? What do you need from me? How can I help you? And a part of my research, besides just looking up the keyword and the tangible, real particular research, I also make sure that I'm still creating content that people are going to find value. And within that content, what people are going to ultimately find value. So I do my ICA research and my TubeBuddy research. And at that point, once I've gotten myself in the know and I know that this is going to be my calendar and these are going to be, this is the research, this is what I'm going to ultimately publish, it is time to move on to step number 3 in our process. So let's head back on over to the desk and talk about what that is. Yes, I mean exactly that. Sit down and crank it out. Now, I do have this entire routine that I do in order to be able to do that because I too have blocks. I mean, serious blocks. Sometimes I wander around just trying to get myself in the mood to actually crank out a video script. But having that time blocked and knowing that I've got a set time frame to crank it out helps. But my routine usually includes turning on my favorite pump you up music playlist, watching a few inspiring videos, and reading a couple of inspiring articles, and begin my CP's Pomodoro technique. Now, I have a whole nother video on the details about my Pomodoro technique, and it is my favorite time management hack that gets me to produce. I love it, and I use it. So I'm gonna go ahead and link to that video right here so that you can check it out, because it's life-changing. Because when I do my version of Pomodoro, it really helps me focus and crank out my video content. But I also use some other interesting things, including my scripting process that helps me crank out 4 to 6 weeks worth of video content at a time. And guess what? I'm about to show you exactly what I mean. Shall we? All right, guys, so let me show you how I crank this out. And I think one of the best ways to do it is just to kind of show you what my scripting process looks like. Now, I do use 2 different types of scripting depending upon the video and the title of the video and the type of video that I'm doing, because I do have access to a teleprompter, and sometimes I do actually script it out. But usually when I'm doing my digital products and courses, I like to script things out a little bit more than my YouTube videos, because I like my YouTube videos to be a lot more personality, and I kind of get the juices flowing and I can really talk. And I find that my energy levels are higher, and then I just feel more into it. So this is my video script kind of template, and I have to give credit. It's kind of a spinoff of Sunny Lenarduzzi, who you guys have heard me talk about before. She's absolutely amazing. I have learned so much from her about this process of, building YouTube, building a YouTube channel, building a YouTube audience, and ultimately using it to grow a business. We came from very similar background in that we have a consulting business, a service-based business, and then ultimately began using YouTube as a marketing mechanism for that business. And so she actually did a YouTube video where she talked about what her scripting looked like. And I loved it because it allows me to also participate in what the production of the actual script of the actual video itself looks like. So as you can see, kind of got the title of the video up here. I've got keys up here, that anything in red, these are just director notes, because I do have someone who assists me, whether I record by myself or whether they're recording with me. When I give it to them, their job is to go through, watch the video, and make notes for the editor. But I already have my ideas of where I want things to go when I'm actually creating the script. So as you can see, this is my standard one. It's an outline form. And what I typically do is always do an attention-getting clip. I let the editor choose those now, but in the beginning, I chose them, or the director did and made a note of which clip we wanted, like literally put in here what minutes we wanted the clip to be. But our editor is amazing. We've been working together for so long that he now picks them, and he never does me wrong. So I just kind of put that in there now. Also, kind of my intro. I don't always read it word for word. I've kind of memorized it at this point, but it is kind of the same thing. And then I let them know if I want our regular branded intro, which we have as a longer one, or a short intro. It just depends. And so on this side of my script, this is my audio. This is what I'm saying. On this side, this is my direction to the video, to the visuals, to graphics that I like, because as I'm creating this script and I'm cranking this out, I have ideas about what my visual is, what the creative is. And so if you guys see a video, a graphics, kick in, or a clip from a music video or a clip from something, those are usually my ideas, plus some from my team as well, because they go through and add that stuff as well. And they do a great job. And we've been working together on it for so long that they kind of know. But this is kind of where it goes. I kind of put an outline together, key bullet points that I want to talk about under each of them. And then on this side in green, those are graphics or inserts or B-roll. In blue, it's like usually intros and music. And then in red, it's any of my director. Once he gets those, he actually goes through and adds his own. But this is what I do. And this is how I kind of crank it out. So I start usually by copying and pasting my most recent video script, because it's the template. And then I put it into, and I start working on it. And I love to crank out content on an outline basis. But let's just say I'm going to put an entire paragraph in, like my closing. I actually like to talk
text it. Am a decent writer, but I am a better speaker. And because I know I'm a better speaker, I talk out my thoughts. They come out, they flow better when I'm talking. And so I will literally use this dictate process right in Word. And I've mentioned it before, but I don't know if I've ever shown you guys an example. So I'll show you an example, and I'm not going to mess with the above script, obviously, but I'm going to show you an example of that. When you click on this dictate button right here in Microsoft Word and you start talking, it will actually type out everything that you are saying. And you don't necessarily have to even be speaking in sentences. It won't put your periods in, but you can just let it flow. You can just talk. You can have a conversation in your document. And then after I talk, I'll hit this stop button for it to stop dictating. And then I just go back through and I reread over it, and I put my ampersands in so I know to take a breath in there. I'll put my spaces in. I'll put my question marks. I'll put my, exclamation points wherever they ultimately go. Then I go back in and actually do the grammar piece of it. So that's like a little CP impact tip there for you that I gave you. And then underneath that, I get into creating the description that's going to go along with this video. That's right included in the same thing. And then also any social media promotion or copy or content that has to go out with my video is also on the same form. So the whole team who's working around promotion, editing, recording, creation of the video itself, and you'll see all of that in those steps that I showed you in Monday.com right before we came in here. All of the data that they need is actually captured from here. Now, I ultimately have a team now that actually creates this descriptions and some of the social media content, but I also like to put something in there to give everybody kind of a starting point to use. And then this exact same information is also how I create my email newsletter and then my additional social copy, which is a whole nother video. So I won't get into it now. You guys can check that one out when it comes out. I think it's scheduled for the next couple of weeks. So make sure you check it out. But that's it. That's how I crank it out. I use this script template. I get my music together. I get my flow. I love a good playlist. It's going to get me all hyped up. And then I love to talk text, put it in outline form, crank it out. I press print, and then I'm ultimately ready to record.
Right? So you see, creating videos ain't that hard, but it is a process, like everything I keep telling you about. And because I've implemented this process and it has become such a habit for me, I can crank out an entire month's worth of video content in a handful of hours. It just flows. It's easy, and it eliminates my overwhelm, as really all processes do, right? Because that's the purpose of creating business processes and systems, to eliminate the overwhelm, to remove all the questions and the starting from scratch, to make things more efficient and better. So what am I telling you? Well, if you are wandering around stressed out, not knowing how to create videos, create a process. Hell, use this one. Use mine. That's why I'm giving it to you. Because once you do, it'll become second nature, like riding a bike. Well, is that really second nature? I don't think riding a bike is even second nature for me. I mean, it's been some years. But anyway, don't forget, as I mentioned, if you want me to dive even deeper into my actual video production process, then let me know in the comments below, and I will put that together for you as well. Because guess what, my love? We are still in the process lab. And if you are loving it, tell me below in the comments, but make sure you subscribe too, because this is just the beginning. Like I said, in 2021, we are going to be focusing on knocking your business processes and systems out. And it ain't over, okay? We will be diving into more processes and systems in the coming weeks, because that is what we do around here, all right? So if you are hella pumped about that, smash that like button. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe in that bubble right there next to me. Tap on my face so you can catch us next week and every single week after that. And don't forget to share this video with someone else that you know needs to work on their business processes and systems because they just want more freedom and they want to start delegating. Until next time, my love, stay safe. Mwah! Bye-bye.